Peace family. My name is Christina Victoria, and today I'm driving because I had an early appointment, but I still wanted to make my morning video. And what has been on my mind is pray out God's will and watch your life change immediately. And as always, these are not coming at you. These are at myself and my own reflections, and just being a little bit in awe of what happens when you stop praying for your will be done and totally surrender to God's will and only pray that God's will be done, and watch miracles happen in your life. Watch you get things better than what you even thought you wanted. Let me tell you. So before we get into this one, I love you guys. Wishing you abundant life, love, joy, peace, and prosperity, family. But not only to you, to your loved ones, to your communities, and even to your stinky butt enemies. And with that, this is going to be a short one. But I just had to say this. This was on my mind, like, right before I went to bed. It was actually on my mind yesterday, but I didn't have time to make a video because I had to go to sleep. I had to be up early this morning. And so I was like, I have to talk about this. Pray out God's will only. And I mean like only. Like I'm not saying that we're not going to have things that we want or need, right? But like really catch me on this, okay? Really catch me, family, okay? If you truly believe in God, I'm not talking about I believe that God exists. I mean believe in God. Like, I believe in God in the same way that I believe in my mother, okay? Like, you have to have somebody that you believe in, meaning like, I know that when S hits the fan, right? I know that my mother will come through for me, okay? And in that same way, that might be your spouse, that might be your best friend, but you have to understand, like, I feel like we think of God as like less than, like, even basic people that we know. Like, I know that like certain people, certain friends of mine, right, when I really need to talk to someone, you know, they will sit and listen to me. You know what I mean? I have certain friends who I know, you know, if like I really need something, they're gonna pull up, right? Okay. Think about how much, if you believe in God, okay, and if you trust God, and I think a lot of our problem is that we don't really trust God because we're praying out our will and our will is not happening. And it's like, we almost think of prayer as like a slot machine or something. Like, I should be able to put the money in and then pull the thing and get what I want. And it's like, and then we get mad at God because we're going like this over and over again, but we're not getting the thing out that we thought we were supposed to get. When what God is trying to say to me, at least, is like, it doesn't work like that. It literally doesn't work like that. Like, you know, this whole, like, you know, manifestation thing, like, I understand the idea behind manifestation, and I'm not saying that there isn't any truth to that, okay? But I'm talking about being within the will of God, okay? Like, I mean, like, really surrendering to God, okay? So there may be an element of like, I can kind of will things to happen my way, you know what I mean? So I hear that, but I think what God is really asking, at least asking me to do, so like, if this is relevant for you, take it, you know, take it to God and ask God, like, do I need to pray out your will? Like, what is your will? Is your will different than my will? And I'm telling you, the second I stopped praying my will, like stopped completely, like, I'm not even asking for anything anymore. Because if you think of yourself as a child, right? A child of God. God is your parent, okay? Your father, your parent. And if you think about being like a small child or like a baby, okay? And God being your parent, like, already knows your needs. Already knows, okay? Think about that. Like, if you have a small child, you know, even before the child says, like, I'm hungry, mommy, like, you should have an inkling that the child should be hungry around this time. You feel me? Like, now think about how much more profound God's understanding of us is. And so it's almost, it literally, I was talking in my last video, it's almost ignorant and like silly to like pray to God, like, God, you know, send me this, send me that. God, I need this, I need that. God already knows that. Like a lot of these things we're praying for, God already knows what's on your heart. God already knows what's on your mind. A lot of times we're praying really for our own satisfaction, to get it off our chest, because it's like, you know, we want to say it to God. And I think that's fair. That's totally, we need to pray, you know, but I think we can get so attached. Like if you've been watching my past few videos about non-attachment, like it's like we get so attached to how we want things to be, how we think things are supposed to be, the things that we're supposed to have. And a lot of the time, our perception of that is based on like societal expectations, or like people that we know, or trying to keep up with the Joneses, or like there's so many different things that influence our desires, you know. Like I'm driving right now, and there's billboards that are like, you know, buy this, buy that, you know. We watch advertisements, and it's like, God, why is it that I don't have my Rolex yet, you know? Or I have a Rolex, but this person has a better Rolex, and so I want a better watch, you feel me? And it's like there's a point where it's like we really need to start taking account of like, where are we even getting these things that we say that we want, and is what we think we want actually what we want, what's best for us? Do you know what I'm saying? Because if I think about my perspective, right, I'm looking straight forward, I'm on the freeway, like I can't see every perspective, right? So from my vantage point, I might think that I know what's best for me, but I don't know, you know, I can only see maybe a few miles down the road, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm making decisions and making asks to God based on a very limited amount of information. Okay, like I mean, like a very limited amount of information. Like I'm going through a curve right now. I can literally only see not even a half mile in front of me because it's a curve, right? And so if I'm saying from this curved position, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I want God to give me, my vision isn't even that far. My vision isn't even limited, right? So I mean, based on where I am right at this second, this might seem like what I want, but if I were to go farther down the road, you don't really know what's there. But God knows what's there. God knows what's there. You know what I mean? God knows a lot more than we do. And so it's like, when you really think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to pray out your will, because you don't even really have a very good vantage point with which to make these type of decisions. You know what I'm saying? And if you really trust God, and if you really believe in God, and if you really see God as your parent, as your father, as a very good parent, and I think, you know, perhaps maybe it's that some of us didn't have like good earthly parents, or maybe our earthly parents didn't supply our needs in a certain way, and so, you know, maybe that's why we don't always trust God. We think that we have to kind of hold it to our chest, like let me hold on to what I want, because if I don't beg God for this, if I don't force this through, you know, God's not gonna know, or God's not gonna give it to me. And I think it could be, again, because we've been disappointed by humans or whatever. But I'm here to tell like one person at least, like, yo, you know, God will really have your back. But I think what's happening is we're holding on so tightly to what we think we want that we can't, that God is waiting for us to surrender, like surrender over what you thought you wanted. I promise you what I'm trying to give you is better, but you have to surrender over what you thought you wanted and what you thought was best for yourself. And literally, the second I started doing this, okay, the second I stopped praying for my will completely, okay, and started praying, God, okay, what do you want to happen? Either I think I know what you want, or I don't even know. Whatever you want to happen in my life, I wish that would happen. Whenever you wish for me to get married, I wish that would happen. You know, if you want me to have children or not, I wish that would happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And totally resting in that. There's a super amount of peace in that, because it's like, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to sit here and allow God to give me and present to me right in front of my face what it is that I'm supposed to have. And I'm telling you, it starts to be like extremely obvious. And I mean, like, over the past few weeks, the people I've been meeting, the connections I've been making, the things that have been happening for me, the doors that have been opening have been so divine and like so perfect that I couldn't have planned it. Like, if I had been asking for what I wanted, it would have been something totally different. And then I'm like, God, okay, your will be done. Like, tell me what you want me to do. I'm gonna sit here and be quiet and tell me what you want me to do. and just wait. And sometimes you might be waiting in a period of silence. You might be waiting in a period of like, I'm not saying total inaction, like you're doing things, right? But you're doing things, you're waiting to have instruction before you do things. You feel me? I think a lot of times, because we have our free will, we think that we can just do whatever we want, and we can do whatever we want. God has given us total free will. But like, something happens when you pause. And before you do anything, before you text anybody, I stopped texting a lot of people. Before I call people, I mean, like basic things like that. Should I even call this person? Should I even send this message? You know, should I even go to this place? Someone invited me here. Should I go? And that's what I mean. Like, asking God as your father, that surrender, as your parent, that total surrender. Like, I might be an adult, you know, I might be able to decide and do whatever I want to do. But I think God, at least in my situation, maybe you might be different. So take this to God in your own prayer time. You know, God was definitely asking me, like, I want to give you so much, girl, but I need you to, you know, surrender to me, and me is God. And I think, and I'm going to make another video about this, but like taking account of all of our allegiances, because a lot of times we have allegiances and attachments to people and organizations, and we prioritize those things over God, over listening for God. So we'll say, you know, my sorority told me to do this, and so I have to do this. My you know, this party told me to do this, and so I'm gonna do this. And you know, that's fine if that is in alignment with God, with what God is telling you to do. You feel me? And a lot of times I think what's happening is because we have these earthly attachments, and because we can see these things, and because we can see these people, and because we have to deal in these social situations, that we start to prioritize these social attachments and these things that humans are telling us to do in obedience to humans, okay, over obedience to God. Because, you know, when I'm just living my life, right? You know, what humans are telling me to do is in my face. It's loud, right? It's on the radio, it's on TV. You know, I don't even follow a lot of news outlets, right? But I'm on YouTube, and I've unfollowed all the news, but they're gonna pop up top news anyway, right? Because they're gonna force you to see it. They're gonna force you to see what they're talking about, what they're trying to push down your throat, right? And if you're not really beginning to be clear, very clear, like, you have to on some level clear away a lot of this chatter because it's so loud. And God speaks in a still small voice. God speaks in a still small voice. God is not beating you over the head, bombarding you with ads. God is not like that, right? And so as long as you're listening to all these ads that are just like, oh my God, right? You know, listening to all of these people who are like, do this, do what we want you to do this, you know, and this pressure, it's really hard to hear what God is asking you to do because it's so loud. And, you know, like I was saying in the last video, you know, you can spend time in prayer and asking and praying to God, but there really is space for having to sit in the quietness and really listen for God. And sometimes you may have to sit in the quietness for some time, you know. You really might have to do that. Like spend the whole day not listening to anything, not listening to any TV, not listening to any news, not listening to any music. You know what I'm saying? And if you're new to the quietness, it can feel overwhelming. Like the silence can be deafening because it's like you're so used to, we've been so hyped up on dopamine with, like, you know, TikTok and the swiping and like all of this, that like we forgot how to listen to God. And I'm again saying this out of my own experience of that, and like relearning how to turn off all this stuff. Turn off your phone completely. You know what I mean? Turn off the radio completely. Like sit in the car, don't listen to anything. You know, if you have a 30-minute drive, an hour-long drive, like sit in the quietness and just let God speak to you. And I'm telling you, it is so powerful. You know, before you make decisions, like sit in the quietness and ask God, like, should I even do this? Should I even go here? Should I even bother talking to this person? You know, should I even say my piece on this, or should I just keep it quiet? You know, And it's just remarkable when you really do that. Okay. When you really do that, God will start really speaking to you, and it will be clear as day. And I mean clear as day. Clear as day. And God will start presenting people, places, things to you that you may not have expected, that you really may not have expected at all, but that is best for you, that you need actually, and that is better than what you would have asked for. But you have to stop, from your limited perspective. I think from my limited perspective that, this is where I need to go, this is where I need to go. But God's like, hold on. Just wait for my instruction, like wait for my lead, right? So if you think of like not in a bad way, but you think like a pet, right? You have a pet and you tell them to sit and wait. Okay, go. Okay, go. And like realizing that like we are in that lower position with God. We are in that lower position. I'm not calling us dogs, we're not dogs, we're humans, divinely created by God. But I'm just saying, like, think about the position, really realize the position that you're in with God. We are not the superior, dominant position. We are the subservient, obedient position. And that means that, we have to think about what that means to really sit and stay and wait for that go ahead. And I'm telling you, my life has been changing in just truly incredible ways since I completely stopped praying for my will. And I mean that, completely stopped. And trusting that God already knows your needs, just like a parent. God already knows. God already sees all things. God, I think a lot of times is waiting for us to shut up and to stop thinking that we know it all, and to be like, all right, what do you want? And it's awesome. It's remarkable. It's miraculous. Miracles, I think, are found in the space of complete surrender and obedience to God. Complete surrender and obedience to God. And so I'm going to leave it there. Those are just my reflections and things that I'm learning to do. And it's been really changing my life in miraculous ways and exciting ways. And I'm very, very, very grateful to God for teaching me. The thing I've been really praying, I'm like, thank you, God, for teaching me through these situations and these lessons. Thank you for teaching me. Wow. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for showing me these things, for revealing things to me slowly, day by day, for slowly peeling back these hard layers of my heart, you know what I mean? For giving me the grace and the patience. Thank you for that, God. That's where I've really been praying more so is gratitudes than my will. And so I'm gonna leave it there. I hope it was helpful to somebody. Take everything, like I said, really don't trust me. Put your trust in the Lord. Hear what I'm saying, and if it resonates, if the Holy Spirit is speaking to you and is clicking it with you, then run with it, but don't trust any man, any human, blindly. Don't ever do that. You have to trust God and take everything to God in your own prayer time. And so I'm gonna leave it there. I love you guys so much, and I'm just in such a calm and joyful, peaceful state, increasingly so every day. And it's really coming from increasing surrender to the will of God. And so with that, I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Have a miraculous day.